Kevin.
Wow. What?
You got this only nowhere else but you, Kevin and Zach. Kevin, I'm not going to lie.
Now look at this. A carved penguin. There it is.
Oh, no. Are the O's fine? Are the Orioles fine, Kevin?
I'm so embarrassed.
Okay.
The Orioles stole it. That game was stolen. It was stolen from them, then they stole it right back.
What?
Oh my God.
Wait, what's going on? What is happening?
What is going? Was it a diving play? He bobbled the play.
What is happening? Are they challenging it? No. Other wall. No.
Kevin, I don't know what you saw, how much you saw. I've been chugging champagne. Sure, I spilled a lot, but what a game, man.
He will be the legendary
Birdfish.
How about that?
Birdfish fans, stand up. We did it.
What can I say? What can I say?
What can I say, baby? Orioles get the split. You know what? I'm going to say it. If you're going to split, you might as well win the second one because I'm feeling a lot better right now than if we would have dropped that second game. Feeling good, coming off a win. We're talking about a win, even though, yes, they did also lose today in heartbreaking fashion. I mean, they had the lead. I mean, I don't understand why you don't walk Rafael Devers there. But then you get game two. Everyone's like, listen, you lost game one. We got this bum, Trevor Rogers, on the mound. That game's over. Trevor freaking Rogers, 6 1/3 shutty. 6 1/3 shutty for Trevor Rogers. First time back in the big since last season. Andrew Kittredge also comes in, looks fantastic. Sir Anthony Dominguez bounced back. I'm not going to listen, I probably, if we lose that game, would have come in here and said a lot of crap about Jorge Mateo in center field. He's not great. Not even really good. I'm not going to give him shit for that missing that fly ball, that home run. That was the fact that he got a glove on that while going over the fence. I'm not going to give him. And then give him a shit. Then he ends the game with a little bit. I mean, don't know if he had to die for that, but it makes it look cooler in the highlight reel. Orioles get the job done. Split the doubleheader. I'm just happy they split. I mean, is this what? They've had 3 doubleheaders so far this season. I think they've lost twice the other 2 times. This was a good bounce back. They avoid going 20 games under 500. I actually was going to send a tweet out, but decided not to. It kind of sucks because Trevor Rogers coming back and looking like that, plus Kittredge coming back and looking how he has. I think he's up to like 2 1/3 innings scoreless since being back. That would be really cool storylines right now. They'd be really fun bonuses if this team wasn't 18 games back or 18 games below 500. We would be feeling a whole lot better right now about those two coming back if you didn't have 18 games to go to get back to 500. But let's focus on the positives. This is Kevin and Zach. Let's get to some super chats. Walter, appreciate you as always. Then Trevor Rogers, 6 1/3 brilliant shutout innings tonight for the Orioles. Mateo Carlson Hanley is the modern-day murderer's row. The O's are fine, Walter. The O's are fine. What about that 9th inning? 2 outs, no one on. Mateo, 4-pitch walk. Let's steal a base. Then Dylan Carlson, little insurance. Doubled down the line. If he doesn't do that, that home run ties the game, and we may still be playing baseball right now. So, massive insurance there. Really good to see the bottom of the lineup produce. Mateo also had that one hit where then Kerstead went to third. Out by a mile. I don't know really what that was. But Mateo, decent day, especially for playing center field. I love Maverick Handley. I'm going to say it. I would rather Maverick Handley be the backup catcher than Gary Sanchez. I think Maverick Handley the rest of the season should be the backup catcher. I think Maverick Handley should be the backup catcher. I think plate discipline, he has a lot more competitive at-bats. I think the way he's handled the pitching staff I've been very impressed with. Plus, he's very good behind the dish. So I'm really liking Maverick Handley. And, so Cowser is still at the Dean. He's probably 10 at-bats into his rehab assignment, I think. Ben McDonald was saying on the during the game that he thinks that Cowser will get anywhere between 30 and 40 at-bats in the minors kind of to get back up to speed. So I'd expect to see him back in Baltimore maybe next week or and a half, maybe in next week, not this upcoming week, next week, you get what I'm saying, next week. So maybe that, I think that probably is more of the timeline for where he's looking, especially for a return. Thumb injury, they're going to want to look and get him as many at-bats and get him as comfortable as possible. Yeah, first week of June, I could see that. I could say that. So it'll be nice to have Cowser back. I know people are still very mixed feelings about him because of really we've only seen him the at-bat last playoffs where he got hit and broke his hand, and then he comes in on game 3-4, breaks his thumb sliding into first. So overall, I understand why people, I feel like people forget just how good Colton Cowser is. I think he is a very important asset to this team. I think people also forget we're missing Cowser, Westberg. These are guys that are very important pieces to this lineup. A lineup that could only get 2 runs. Yes, it was enough thanks to Trevor Rogers, the ace of the squad, the savior of the Orioles rotation, Trevor Rogers, putting the team on his back. But if it's not for Trevor Rogers throwing a shutout through 6 1/3, if it's not for Kittredge and them getting out of these, then 2 runs probably usually is not going to be enough. Offense scored 5 in the first game, obviously wasn't enough. So, of course, naturally they win a game 2-1 the next one. Just kind of how this baseball season has gone. Orioles in game 1, let's talk about it. They had it. 5-2, throwing the ball around. I literally tweeted out, I was like, Orioles have the lead. It's time for chaos. And that's what happened. I think it was 17 minutes later. 17 minutes later, they threw the ball around. Ground ball, potential double play. Probably only going to get 1. Turns into now everyone's running around the bases. It's little things like that it feels like it's happening once a game, and it's just costing the Orioles games. It feels like it's the self-inflicted wounds, once again, that are costing this baseball team wins. So that's where it becomes frustrating in that aspect. Very, very, very happy that they were able to bounce back in game 2. It felt pretty evident that they were just giving guys straight off days in game 2, because if you were we're going to win this no matter what, I think you would have put Seti in at some point, especially in center field. You would have, in the 9th inning, you would have definitely, I think, pinch hit Holiday during one of those at bats at the end, probably for Carlson maybe. But it's been looking good, and I want to talk about this a little bit. I don't want to say it's because of the firing of Brandon Hyde. That's not what I'm saying at all. But you can tell since they made the change, it feels like this team has more life late. It feels like even if they're not winning the games, they're finding ways to stay in it. They're finding ways to put pressure on the other team. It just feels like there's suddenly more energy around the team than there was, even just a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Gosh, it's already a week since Brandon Hyde was fired. That's crazy, But it does feel like suddenly there's a little bit more flair, a little bit more fire in the dugout. Guys are showing a little bit more fight. And yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, this is that they're back and they're this insane team. I'm just saying, even in games where before it felt like they had no chance, even if they're winning or losing, it feels like they're showing just more fight. And that's such a moral victory thing. And that's where we're at on May 24th is we're talking about they got more fight. But it's the truth about this team right now. It feels like they're at least showing more life. When they're down, they're showing more life in the late half of the games, in the later innings. So very, very pleased with that. Also wanted to get to this. Kind of, I don't want to say this like news that got swept under the rug because obviously Orioles lose in extras. Then it's like, okay, not Orioles news, but Marcelo Myers gets called up. So it's like, okay, this big prospect is now suddenly in game 2. Then it's like, okay, Trevor Rogers is pitching game 2. Perez DFA. Trevor Rogers throws 6 in the third scoreless inning. You're like, whoa, it's 6 in a third scoreless inning. And it feels like everyone kind of was like, kind of went over that. Perez, like, this is the end of an era. This is the end of an era in Baltimore. Perez, I mean, you go back to 22 when he was one of the best arms we had. I mean, he was the most reliable arm in 22. It felt like probably, especially late in games, kind of came out of nowhere. He was with the Reds, then he comes over and he kind of just took off. And in 22, in the beginning of 23, it felt like he really was the guy. I know last year wasn't great. This year, horrendous. Like, he just was not good. And they cut ties with him. They cut ties and DFA'd CNL Perez. I'm going to be honest, guys, I didn't see that coming. Say what you want. I feel like the Orioles just have guys that they love and that they, no matter what, the analytics, their whatever spin rate, stuff like that they just don't give up on. I thought CNL Perez fell into that category. And I think he did for a very, very long time as a guy with no matter how long he was underperforming, he was always going to still be on the team. I did not think they were going to DFA him just because of how, one, who else do they have lefty-wise? You let go of Coulomb. But it felt like, he was just one of those guys that they were never getting rid of. I don't know if maybe Hyder was one of the guys keeping him, who really fought for him. But it's the end of an era today. And join me to talk about it a little bit more is the other half of Kevin and Zach React, Kevin Ostreicher. Kevin, next day, I mean, we just kind of went over it. You lose by a walk-off in game 1 after you had the game in hand, then you start committing errors, give it away. you don't walk Rafael Devers and you let the best player on the other team beat you, which is just with first base open, incredible. Love it. Then Perez gets DFA'd, and you're like, oh, shit. And then they're like, oh, and Trevor Rogers is starting. You're like, awesome. So this game's over. Oh, here's 7 1/3 shutout innings. How about I retire 18 of the first 19 batters I face? I mean, Kevin, I don't know if you saw the thumbnail. I made it won the trade question mark.
I did.
I mean, what a weird day. What a weird day.
Yeah, weird day. And again, it's like, isn't this just peak Orioles where the lineup, they sit Jackson, put Mateo in center field and start Trevor Rogers as the game they win? Like of course. You can only just shake your head and say, yeah, of course that's the way that it goes. You end the day the same way you started it, 17 games under 500.
Yeah.
But that, that's just what it is. I mean, they are showing more fight, which is good to see. Will it save their season? I still have doubts, but it's nice to at least see them not roll over, right? I think even if there are little moral victories you can take away, things for next season if you're already off this season's train, it's that, these guys still care. And I never thought that they didn't care, but, locker room, clubhouse stuff can get infectious at times, especially with some of the mood. So, I mean, again, the problem with them being so far in the hole they are is that, you can't really celebrate a split or even winning a series because you're so far in it. But I'm going to celebrate the fact that they just look better. They just look better.
Much better.
And look, I get that the game yesterday was an atrocity and, a game that probably we should not be speaking of again. But at least today in both the games, they showed fight. It's unfortunate they split them. Obviously, I think they should have won both. But, you just talked about some of these errors. Gunnar defensively is a bigger conversation I think we have to talk about because it's not just that or this year. It's been a problem for him. He'll make a spectacular play. Like, he will do it. But the consistency is just not there for him defensively. And that it's an issue. It's a big issue for him. But, Ryan O'Hearn is the best hitter in the MLB, obviously, as we all know. And look, man, it's tough decisions for them. Like, I know I spent a lot of the show yesterday talking about the trade deadline and kind of what their paths are. But, like, O'Hearn can help them next year. Mullins can help them next year. But I don't think you can stand pat. It's kind of the direction. And so who are you trading? Is it if it's not O'Hearn or not Cedric, who are you trading? Like that's the conversation.
That's the issue because I mean you talk about I put a tweet out after the game. I was sitting there listening to Ryan O'Hearn talk. The way he talks post game, just where he's like, hey, I'm not feeling great. He's like, I think I swung at 13 balls out of the zone. He's like, I had a horrible day, but I'm gonna fight for every pitch. And that's why you love him, because he never gives in. He was having bad at-bats and goes out in the biggest at-bat of the game, gets the go-ahead RBI in the 8th. Like, he just finds a way to get it done. He's always got bad on. He was sitting there, and he's like, I know it's tough right now. He's like, but we're fighting. He's like, I'm proud of every single person there. He's talked about, he's like, God, I love this for Trevor Rogers. Like, he is such a leader to this team where, yes, you can probably get a good amount for him. Now, I'm not saying a top prospects or anything, but you can get a decent, load for Ryan O'Hearn, maybe some mid-level prospects that could turn out to be something. But you also have to, think about, okay, who are the leaders of the team? Because like you said, Kevin, you trade Seti, you trade O'Hearn. Who's leading this team? Who are the veterans that are taking control?
You've already lost Tony, and I know Tony's not doing great in Toronto right now, but still, it's a voice in the clubhouse. And
and I think that's the where they're going to have to make their decision.
Yeah, and that's the name of the game here. It's decisions, and I'm so curious because we're still a couple months away from the trade deadline. Obviously, what if the Orioles rack up 7 of their, a streak of 7 of 9 in a month? Are they already so far gone, or are they going to try to be buyers? Now, I think it'd be foolish to be absolute buyers this season. I think that's more of an off-season thing. But I just, and look, I'm not saying the Orioles are back because they won a game 2-1 against the Red Sox. Like I'm not saying that. But the vibes do seem a little bit different. Look, they know it's bad. And look, they're going to get guys back too. I mean, they're going to get Kowser back. They'll get Westberg back at some point. I'm not so confident, as confident in maybe Grayson or Bradish this season. I mean, we've kind of talked about it. Zach,
what's the reason?
If the season's so far gone, what's
there's absolutely no reason. If the season is gone and out of hand, the worst thing you can do is you're like, yeah, we're rushing, we're bringing these guys back maybe a little early. We're not, they're at 90% instead of 100, and then something happens and they're like, oh, they tweaked something, and now we're restarting rehab, or okay, now they're not throwing until spring training next year. Give them a full off season if you need to, completely reset, and I think that's the best, idea for those guys. Now, like you said, if they go on a run, if like Buck Showalter said, if they win 10 straight and they're sitting here in, July, 5 games under 500, then we're sitting here and making decisions. But if you're 17 games under 500, I don't see the reason to rush anybody back from injury, especially Bradish. Do not touch Bradish. Let whatever Bradish says, I still believe when healthy, Kyle Bradish is the top 5 pitcher in baseball. I still believe that wholeheartedly. I know people want to talk about we need a number 1. We haven't seen what he was, but I saw him last year recovering from elbow injury and coming out with just kind of silly putty in his arm, nothing really connected, and he still looked like an ace in his 5 starts. I mean, he was like the best pitcher in the league in his 5 starts, not at 100%. So if he's out on that mound feeling even close to 80, 90%, he's a top pitcher in baseball. Do not risk that.
Yeah, and I agree. And you kind of look at the schedule. Actually, let me pull up the schedule real quick, because obviously you're finishing this one out in Boston tomorrow. Then you have a 3-game set with the Cardinals. Then you got the White Sox, the Mariners, the Athletics. I mean, I think that's kind of your last hurrah for the season if you're the Orioles, right? I mean, you got to string off some wins and rattle off some wins in that stretch, especially against the White Sox, who I believe now have more, or now it might be they're tied again for wins in the AL because the Orioles won the double. I know the White Sox did at one point have more wins.
Yeah, up until that, they had 17 wins and we had 16 after that first game.
So, look, you have to string off wins against the A's and the White Sox at least. Mariners are playing good ball.
Very good ball.
That's a team that, you're not as confident in the Orioles getting some wins off of. But
Kevin, I mean, let's think about it. The Orioles. Their May is so easy. This is a month that they should just kind of turn it around, remember?
Well, yeah, we saw how that went. But then after that,
they have 5 wins in 24 days.
Yes, and then look, after that stretch of Cardinals, White Sox, Mariners, and A's, you have Tigers, Angels, and the Angels are like the best team in baseball apparently now. The Rays, the Yankees, the Rangers, the Rays, the Rangers again, the Braves, the Mets, and then you go see old friend Kyle Stowers, or I guess Stowers comes back to Baltimore. So, like, it's not an easy stretch. It's not an easy stretch. And I know the Rangers are kind of underperforming right now. They haven't been great. Wow, the A's are on a 10-game losing streak. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, they're making us look good.
Sheesh. Yeah, I mean, the Cardinals are doing their thing. Man, what a fall from grace for the Padres, by the way.
Yeah, that's not been – they fell fast. Yeah. They've lost what? It's like let me see. What are their last 10?
They're 3-7, I think.
Yeah, it's because 3-7. It's been a very tough. At one point, I think they lost 5 straight. Just lost again today. Ronald Acuna, dog.
That was awesome yesterday. That was awesome.
Yeah, he had another one today.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, he had another one today.
I know everybody says it, but baseball's so much better when he's healthy. He is electric.
Super. He's just one of those superstars.
Yeah.
You see the Did you see the John Morant? You see that?
John Morant?
What he did after he
hit? He did that?
Yeah, he threw the grenade. Dude.
Oh, speaking of, you see how much the Thunder are down by at halftime?
Yes, I did. Dude, the Pacers? I know we're racking.
I've been on that Pacers train. If it wasn't the Nuggets, I'm rooting for the Pacers to win. I wanted the Nuggets. I wanted the Nuggets to trade Jamal for Tyrese years ago, back when he was in Sacramento before Sacramento trade. I was so in on Tyrese, and he has been proving me right. So,
yes. Let's get up to a few more. We got some super chat. Fenway is. It's old. I know there are a lot of tough seats in Fenway from what I've heard where you can't see anything.
Yeah, I sat by the short wall and right by the pesky pole or whatever. And it was cool sitting there. That was actually the game. I sat there years ago. There were like 7 homers all over the monster that game. That was my first time at Fenway. When they're in the air going over the monster, it just feels like they're never coming down. Like they're never coming back. It's crazy. So, yeah. But the inside of the walking around the concourse and getting concessions.
It's historic.
It's an older stadium. And you can tell.
It's like Wrigley. If you say Wrigley and Fenway are two of the best parks in baseball, you can get away with that because of the historicness of them.
Yeah, and again, you don't want to just completely demolish the history. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're saying they're the best experience.
Yeah, it's an experience for those who want to experience what a park was
exactly.
Like.
I agree. I agree.
That part isn't bad. But if you're looking for glam and
then that's not
it's probably not your place.
Yeah.
So.
And then Walter, appreciate you saying Kyle Bradish has #1 pitcher stuff. Yep, I agree. He's an ace. Grayson, on the other hand, I would trade if he stays healthy for a year. And if Grayson stays healthy for a year, I think he's an ace as well. I would love for him to stay healthy for a year. If Grayson could stay any sort of healthy for a year, I think he would be up there in the top 15 pitchers in baseball. But unfortunately, we can't even get him to stay healthy for what? A few months, a few weeks. So I think that's really just the big issue there. I would love if Grayson could stay healthy. I think he's an incredible pitcher.
To me, I think that, the big conversation with those guys, it's not relating it to like a football. And I know Grayson's not had the career that this guy has had, but Julio Jones, where you just had Julio was awesome, but you had to account that he was going to miss like a quarter of the year every single season. And it doesn't take away from the talent. But
tweeting it out, Kevin Ostraker, Grayson Rodriguez is the Julio Jones of Major League Baseball.
Okay, yes, get me canceled on football and baseball social media.
Talent-wise,
you know what? I think they should. Ronald F. Acuna. Walter always has those zingers, man. Walter always knows what to say.
I still can't believe that Luis F. Castillo.
I'm really glad we got to react to it live too. Because I watched, you literally dropped you dropped your phone as you were going to pick it up and look.
I was like, this react show just took it completely. I was like, we're back. We were not back. But Kevin, you want to get into? I'm going to put the link in.
Yeah, let's do some shorter call-ins. I know Zach, you said it was going to be a little shorter today, so. It's Memorial Day weekend, man. Got to enjoy the holiday. And, of course, we got to enjoy one Orioles win.
I'm just glad that they got a win because I was so tired of talking about 2 losses in one day.
I honestly felt
that would have been the 3rd time we've had to do that, which isn't a lot.
It would have been wild if the game tonight got postponed to tomorrow again and they had to play a doubleheader again. Like this doubleheader was scheduled tomorw. Like it's just you pushing one game back every single time.
Honestly, they probably would have to. Because, I'm surprised the first game I was watching on my phone and I pull up. I was like, oh, nice. We're up 2-0. Then I go pull up the game. It's downpouring. I was like, why are we playing baseball right now?
Yeah.
Of course,
bad weather weekend. Bad weather weekend.
But let's get into our first call. And we got Joe. Joe, how we doing?
What's up, Joe?
I'm doing
Like
all
that.
right. Yeah, my friend Armando sent me this hat. He unfortunately passed away recently.
Are you a good? Oh, sorry to hear that.
Sorry, I'm hearing that.
Sorry to hear that. Are you like the 360 brim? Are you a fan of those types of hats?
I mean, it's okay. It's not my everyday thing, but the Orioles won, and I found out that he unfortunately passed away in his sleep. So,
Oh man,
sorry.
sorry to
it was
hear
a
that.
short run, but he was a fun guy.
Wow.
And he enjoyed his wrestling. That's for sure. He enjoyed his wrestling.
Wow.
Yeah,
Sorry
good
for your
taste.
loss, Joe.
But
Good taste in that.
the Razorbacks are winning 2-0 in the fifth out there. Softball's on they got to win or go home, and let's hope they pull it off to get to game 3 tomorrow. How about Jorge Mateo? He knows his seat is
Zach's
hot.
favorite center
Hot.
fielder. Zach's
His
favorite
seat is
center
hot.
fielder.
I was screaming at my TV, why did you not put Mullins in as a defensive replacement? But,
They must have been
It-
giving him the full game off because I did not get that.
it worked out, I guess. But, hey, scored the winning run, almost robbed a home run. What more can you ask?
What more can you
What
ask?
more? What more?
Awesome. Joe, we got a bunch of call-ins we're going to try to get to. We actually got a ton of people calling in today. So we're going to get to those.
Rest in peace, Armando up there in the bird's nest in the sky.
All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Armando.
Appreciate
All right,
you, Joe. You have a good
Appreciate you,
Saturday,
man.
my friend. Awesome. So let's keep it rolling. We got Ray up next. Ray, what we doing, my guy? How we feeling?
What's up, Ray?
Where the hell's he been? I've been saying it for a month. If he's healthy, he's got to be pitching. And he goes out there and throws the best game any Oriole has. And it's too late.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing.
It is too late.
It's like I said early in the show, I was like, it should be such a fun storyline that he's pitching well, Kittredge is pitching well. It's like, oh, this is such a huge addition. It's just 17 games, 18 games under, and you're like, okay, maybe not going to help as much.
Throw him the deal for Keller right now. One start, deal for Keller, straight up. That's it.
Look, you knew the Orioles were going to win the second game when you saw the punt lineup that Mansolino put there.
Always.
I was joking with my buddy. He was like, what the hell's this lineup? And I'm like, yeah, they're going to win. Like, they're going to win, like, 2. They're going to win, like, and they win 2-1. I mean, Rivera just produces, man. He's just the ball.
He just gets the job done. He just gets the job done. It's what he does.
I just, if there's one thing that this Orioles team has, it's those utility guys that can just get it done. Urias and Rivera. Just give me 4 Uriases, 4 Riveras, and 1 Jorge Mateo in center field, and we'll be all right.
I'll at least say that play in center where it was the home run.
Yeah.
Max effort.
Lay it on the line, man. Lay it on the line.
Shit on that. I'm not giving him any shit. The fact that he got that close, do I think he could have caught it? Like, yeah, but I'm also wasn't the one running full speed into that wall. So, like, the fact that he even got to that, unbelievable. Not giving him any. Good job today in center, Jorge. I'll give him it.
Well, the one thing I want to say too, before you guys move on, do you think Morton's getting DFA'd tomorrow? Because I'm shocked he didn't pitch yet in order to keep Rogers on the roster. Because I'm shocked he didn't pitch today.
Did they announce something with Rogers yet?
I think it's Dean tomorrow. I think Dean's pitching tomorrow. So if that's the case, the only reason, unfortunately, I could see it not being it is the Orioles being the Orioles and them being like, oh, well, we don't have to use an option because he was the 27th man, and they send Rogers down for 4 days, have Morton pitch maybe in the next day or two, and then have, maybe Rodgers come back up in 2 days, 3 days. I could see that maybe, but besides that, it's Dean Kramer tomorrow, it looks like. So, yeah, I'm not sure.
Because I was stunned that they did not – because, the double headers, that's when they go, okay, Morton's going to be the bulk guy like after McDermott and in Detroit after Aiken.
Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't pitch today and I saw Perez get paid, Rodgers pitches a gem. I'm like, Morton's not going to be on this team tomorrow.
Yeah. No, I think he's definitely the odd man out right now, and I don't think it's close. I think if you are – especially because – it's not even that Trevor Rogers came out and it's like, oh, he gave you a good start. He gave you the best start of any Oriole season. So just by that, he can't be the guy, especially with how this season's going. You cannot have a guy, who you've given up that much capital to receive, go out there, give you 6 1/3 scoreless, and then not send him out there in 5 days again. Right. This needs to be his confidence boost. Let him ride this.
Well, Kevin, remember when I said if Rodgers is healthy, I don't care about his 4 starts last year because we don't have a ton of pitching, and in his career he's been in MLB pitch at times. You just got to hope these are one of those times, and they waited too long.
Yeah, again, it's like what do they have to lose essentially at this point not even this point, like 2 weeks ago. What did they have to lose 2 weeks ago about throwing Trevor out there? Just to, if it was a disaster, then fine. It's not anything worse than what's going on already, so it's whatever. And if he's great, like he was tonight, then okay. Then you can throw him out there and you feel good about it. So again, it's one start. Obviously, the 4 last year, you're hoping he can get back to the formulas a couple of years ago. But again, Ray, the big question then and now is what do they have to lose by trying these guys out and seeing if they have stuff or not? And if they don't, then it's whatever. The season already feels like it's lost anyway. So it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Well, Ray, appreciate you calling in, man. We'll talk soon. Hopefully after another win. Feels good to talk after a win. So enjoy the rest of your night, Ray. We'll talk soon.
Also appreciate you, Ray. So let's keep it going. Let's head to our next guy. We got Steve. Steve, what's up, my man?
Trevor Rogers? Excuse me? I was at work for both games of the doubleheader.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that Boston walked off game 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw Rogers pitching game 2. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Doubleheader sweep. 6 1/3 shutty? What was it? 1 hit?
Ended up actually being 3 at the end, I think, because of that blooper at the end. It should have been 2. But yeah, unreal. He retired 18 of his first 19.
Oh, it was 2.
So 2 hits, 6 1/3 shutout. If I'm the Orioles, Morton's getting DFA tomorrow.
Very well could. I think they very well could.
And I'm going to say this. Keep Hanley in Baltimore. He's having some really good at-bats.
He's fighting. He's grinding through at bats. I think I really like how he's handling the pitching staff. I like how he's been defensively behind the plate. I think he gives you a lot more right now than Gary Sanchez does, even when he's healthy.
Oh, agreed. That last at-bat Hanley had in game 2, what was it, 8th inning?
Mm. Yeah.
That was a screamer off his bat right at the shortstop.
Yeah, and he's had a few of those. He is making some good contact. He's having solid at-bats. I think he is the perfect guy to go out there, especially if pitchers are comfortable and feel good, pitching to him. He should be the guy, especially because I don't think they're all that confident. And, it's kind of been his forte everywhere he's gone. Gary Sanchez isn't the greatest blocker or, we've seen it already this year. Balls getting by him, should be caught. Now it's a pass ball. You can't allow that to happen.
And, Adley's not the best blocker in the league, but he's pretty good. And I am going. I gave Jorge Mateo so much shit when they put him in center field in Kansas City. After that effort, I heard on the broadcast after work, because I tuned in on the broadcast after work, 121 feet is how far he ran to try to get that ball. And it glanced off his glove. But he made up for it with the game-ending catch.
Yeah, I mean, the effort there was unbelievable. I mean, but that's what you want. You know, that's what you want to see from him, is just going out there and finding a way.
Absolutely. I'm going to say this before I go. Kramer tomorrow, need him to shove. Need the bats to get going early and often. Is it Buehler for Boston tomorrow?
I believe so. At least, I'm not going to lie, Steve. These double headers and everything have thrown off
me off.
Who is pitching what days. I feel like we've played 5 games in 2 days. Let's see.
It does feel that way.
It really does. Yes. Tomorrow we got projected as Kramer versus Buehler. Yes.
We need, because Buehler's best pitch, if I remember correctly, is that 4-seam.
Mm-hmm.
If we can time the off speed up, he's not going to be in the game for long.
No. And, he's had his struggles this year, so if they can get to him early, that's a guy they can get out pretty quickly. And obviously, the way that Boston used their bullpen today, obviously in the doubleheader, you can get – I think tomorrow's going to be who can get the starter out first is going to win the game.
Exactly. Not only that, Buehler's last start, he got tossed early.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like what?
Against the Mets, I believe.
Yep. He got tossed like an inning and a half in. So
exactly. So I'm going to say this. I'm going to get off of here. We're splitting tomorrow.
I love it.
And then Sagano Memorial Day in Baltimore in the Battle of the Birds.
I love it. Let's just win it. Let's run a little run here, Steve.
I love it.
I want to see this team go on like a 10-game winning streak. Get the momentum going and just pedal to the metal. Get the boys hitting. And like you said, Kowser's coming back. Westy's coming back. I'm not sure if I want O'Neill back, but eventually I think O'Neill is going to get hot too. So once the boys get healthy, full speed ahead.
Yeah, you hope it can be
it's like
that
Buck
way.
Showalter said, a young team with momentum that starts to snowball is very dangerous. Crazy things can happen. So, Steve, let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it. We'll catch you next time, my friend. Appreciate it.
Have a good one, guys.
Awesome. Next up, we got Joey. Joey, how we feeling?
What's going on, Joey? How you doing, man?
I mean, it's better today. Like I said yesterday, it was horrible. So, real good. What's going on with y'all?
Feeling better after game 2 than I was game 1.
A lot better after game 2. Just to try to enjoy the Memorial Day weekend without the Orioles losing too much. So glad they got the win.
Yeah, not walking Devers. We can talk all night about that. We know what it is. We know what it is.
We know. Yeah.
But today, I think the best thing through both games, the bases were loaded a lot. They were taking walks, and the discipline was there today. That was the difference. And they seem to play really well versus the rest of the AL East, like the Yankees. I know we got spanked on Easter, but they're playing up to their division, and you just take the little wins where you can.
Yeah, feels like the Yankees are this team that I feel honestly more confident in the Orioles beating the Yankees than I do some of these middle tier teams. Yeah. It just feels like they've had their number over the last handful of years or years plus, whatever it may be. So I think you're right. Like in those division games, you're going to face the Rays coming up a decent amount. Obviously, you got the Yankees coming up too. Hopefully, you can finish this with a split. They took 2 or 3 from Boston earlier, so it's just like those are the types of games that are important. But it's obviously just continuing to be a well-rounded team, which they haven't really been this year, and that's been the unfortunate part of it.
And look. So Rogers comes out here. He has this great day. You want to be excited, but for me, it's like we'll see. Like, I don't know if teams have the scouting report necessarily on him. They might have been able to see his rehab starts, but we're gonna have to see it play out.
Sure.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
Jack Flaherty when he came shoved his first start, but then you saw what happened.
Yeah.
Like so.
Yeah,
Right,
it is at the end of the day, it is one start. It's a single start, but I think this is a great, especially for what he dealt with, I think, mentally last year and just kind of the new place, not succeeding immediately. I think this is a very big step forward for him. I think this is exactly what he needed.
Well, how close can you run up to 94 miles per hour? Because I know they're marginal increments, but from like 91 to 94, we're talking, two different kind of outcomes, two completely kind of different outcomes there.
Yeah, I mean, he hit 95.6 today, I think.
Or 95. I thought someone said 96 itself. Maybe that was just on the broadcast though.
Yeah, he just incredible.
He was juiced.
And that's what is big. He's just that confidence. It's, you want to see him. If he's hitting that mid-90s, he's a completely different pitcher. So if you can get Trevor Rogers sitting 94 to 96, that's going to be a damn good pitcher. It's when he's touching 91 at his peak that things start hanging over the middle, and 91 over the middle usually ends up in the stands.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think they should have won game one.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I feel like that umpire game one was what killed him. I know there were mistakes, but
it was
on the
bad.
outside corner
It was
versus
bad.
lefties especially was just like brutal. That Holiday strikeout, like, come on, you guys saw that, right? Oh my, like
it was bad. It was bad.
Like 3 balls off the plate. 3 balls off the plate, bad. I mean, there's bad and then there's that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, going to be perfect, but some of those calls were pretty egregious today. I'm not gonna lie.
Just the first game. I feel like the second one.
Second one was all right. Second one was all right. Yeah.
Second one had its
Had moments. Yeah.
And
but
then Kevin,
that first game was brutal. Umpiring that first game was atrocious. Just atrocious up.
You're giving up on Gunnar Henderson at shortstop, man. Come on.
I never said I was giving up. I never said I was giving up. No,
Don't
man,
give
I
me
never
that.
said that. Come on.
You're saying, oh, it's a problem. No, I got you. I got you.
No, I'm not giving up. Look, 25 errors last year is not great, right? We're not. It was rough for him there. And look, all these guys like Gunnar. I just think for me, it's like the expectations of who Gunnar is, and like I know that for me, what is he? I think he has like 4 errors this year, maybe 3. I don't know exactly. I think he's played like 35 games because he missed the beginning portion. So like 35-ish games this year for him. So, I'm not Gunnar. And I said it, like he'll make spectacular plays out there. Like I'm not saying Gunnar's a horrible, terrible fielder, but I just think that, some of these, and I think it also it's the moments that they come in sometimes that might be escalating what it feels like to me. So look, I'm not saying Gunnar's a bad defender. I just feel like for me, I want to see a little more. Which
it's the focus. You got to have the focus, the presence. Exactly. Everyone on the team needs that kind of it's. And for he definitely needs to show it because I'd say he's the best player on the team, like undoubtedly.
Sure,
and if he can maintain that focus and that intensity, it's just gonna bleed down through the rest of the roster. They need that from these young players.
That's exactly, and it's like, with the mental aspect we talk about, and just, it's all contagious, the vibes, the moods, the ups and the downs. So, I think it's really cool, especially like Zach, we were talking about O'Hearn and what he was saying after the game. Like, hopefully that inspires some fight. Now, seems like, and I don't know if you feel this way too, Joey, like every single time it feels like they have momentum. It just feels like they don't do anything with it. They have momentum, whether it's Heston's thing last year and Zach's on here screaming about how they need to go out there and win the game by 50 runs and it doesn't happen. Like I want them to capture some momentum. I want that to happen.
Yeah.
So
and it's from inning to inning. It's like when Zach says, "Oh, here comes the chaos," or whatever. The O's have the lead. Here comes the chaos, and he was right. You were right on there. It's like, boom, all the you're a jinx.
Yeah, come on, Zach.
At this point, it's like I read this team like a book. Unfortunately, it just feels like they are. As soon as they get a lead, something's about to happen.
Hey, you're right. Honestly, you're right.
Yeah, It's tough. It really is. I think that's what's frustrating is it feels like they should be, winning so many more of these games, but it's stupid errors. It's stupid mistakes, self-inflicted mistakes that are costing them. So that's where it becomes most frustrating.
Yep.
Well, all right, guys. I know you got a lot of call-ins going on.
Awesome, Joey.
I hope you guys have a good rest of your show. It was good talking to y'all.
Awesome, Joey. Thanks so much for calling in, man.
Joey,
Have a good night.
catch you next time.
Joey.
Awesome. Next up, we got our guy Gordon.
Let's see, is he
Gordon,
there? There he is. There he is.
Hey. What's going on?
What's going on? This is Gordon calling after a win. You love it.
Hey, yes. Hey, look, you see it. Trevor freaking Rogers, man.
Trevor Rogers.
Just like everyone predicted.
Hey, look, this will make you feel like, hey, Kyle Stowers, who? Kyle Stowers, who? Oh, yeah, we got Trevor Rogers, baby. If he can keep this up for the rest of the year, obviously, which he won't. But, it just feels good. In the first game, I wanted us to win, and I just was like, yeah, we're not going to hold this lead. And, errors and just, like, boneheaded plays. And, I understand you're trying to make plays, but, I'm not even going to speak on that. But anyway, we're going to talk about the win because, if we could just obviously keep stacking, that'll be great. But at this point, I just am here just to watch the Orioles and, hopefully not get mad when I see things happen like, 3-run home run after we walked, after we had the lead, or a blown save, like everything's kind of rubbing off on Eflin, giving up runs and just it doesn't seem like he's himself right now. And it's just like, I'm just here for the ride at this point, and that's what the Orioles do. The storyline should be Gunners rake in. The storyline should be Holiday. We're about to get Westy back. We're about to get Cowser back. But it's just like, we just hope we go on a 10-run win streak and, get back within 6 to 7 games under 500, and hopefully we'll see what happens then. But that's kind of crazy. If we go on a 10-game win streak, we'll still be 6 games under 500, right?
Yeah, 7.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm just Gordon. I mean, I'm taking it one game at a time. Like, I think that's all.
Goodness.
You can't. We could look ahead to July, but honestly, I don't really. The rate this is going, I don't really want to know what it's going to look like in July.
Me neither.
So,
July seems like I was expecting this year that July was going to be the best months of the summer, just going to Camden Yards, having fun, the stadium being stacked, and just enjoying ourselves. But now it's like, dang, do I want to spend my money on this, or should I save it for the Ravens? Those season tickets aren't cheap. Should I just pay that off in advance, or just spend my money on this incompetent team right now, because that's literally what they are, incompetent. We have the talent, like we should be winning, but we're not putting it together, and that's dang near incompetence right there. Like where we got everything, but we're not getting it right. So
yeah, I just this team it's been disappointing. You take the wins where you can get them, and you take the positives. And I mean, look, in a game like this, like we've been asking these starters to go deeper in a ball games, and Trevor giving you 6 in the third, and obviously like Kittredge, the Andrew Kittredge era, 2-0 in games Kittredge pitches. So
you know who I feel bad for? Povich. Yesterday he was shoving, did what he needed to do, and his team just gave up on him. And even his last, I think it was the last 2 starts, he had a good. I just feel bad for him because I know that can rattle off on your confidence, and we need him. We need him big time, but like I really feel bad for him. Like no way we should have been losing the games that we're losing, but what would you guys do to try to change and fix this offense? Like if you were in control, I understand like pitching or whatnot, but like when it comes to this offense, what would you try to do? Like what do you see from this team from 1 through 9? Why we're not consistent on everyday basis?
It could be routines, guys getting in funks. I mean, I think that, look, they're taking pitches right down the middle or just, swinging through things. I mean, some guys right now can't hit off speed pitches, which is tough. I just think staying consistent with the lineups is a big thing. And, I know it worked out for them today, benching Jackson. It still was not a good decision, in my opinion. They shouldn't have done it. And, we can, winning cures everything. But, I wonder how much of it is philosophy. You bring in the guy from Seattle, and which we've all talked about being a bad decision. And, I'm sure getting guys back as well, like Cowser coming back in the lineup and Westberg coming back will hopefully help as well. But I just think it's been, Gunnar has not been the player that they've needed him to be this year. Adley's not been the player they needed him to be this year. O'Hearn and Seti have been carrying this team for the most part offensively, and even Seti's had tough stretches this year at times. So to me, it all does come back to philosophy, because I think that, look, Gunnar's a more talented player than this. People don't want to hear this. I think Adley is too. And I just think they made a bad hire. I truly think they made a bad hire. And I can't believe that they're this bad. Maybe they're not going to be, and not that Gunnar has been or Adley has been, but they're not going to be 320 hitters for their careers. That's just not who they are. But to have them go through some of the stuff they've gone through, I don't know. It feels like it's been some lineup stuff, but a lot of it to me falls on philosophies, and I would be pretty disappointed if these hitting coaches were brought back next season, in my opinion. So that's kind of where I am.
A lot of people forget that this is Adley's third year in the league, in the big leagues. Not third full year, but his third year, right?
Yeah, I guess third full season.
Yeah, but
so 3.5. Yeah.
His first year, he did a hell of a job. Second year, did a hell of a job. And then, I know end of last year, he kind of fell off in the beginning of this year. But, I mean, his sample size in the big leagues is, really good. That just doesn't go anywhere. It's not like he just woke up one day and then, hey, I lost all my baseball powers. I just can't play baseball anymore. That doesn't happen. Adley will get back to where he needs to get back to, and it's frustrating because when he is at the peak, the Orioles are the best team that they can be. And it's not Gunnar. When Gunner's raking, this team can still just not be, this team can still lose. When Holiday is raking, this team will lose. But for some reason, when Adley is putting on a show consistently, this team wins. And whether that be him raking, whether that be him controlling what the pitches are being called, the game, but when he is the catalyst for this team. Once he turns it around, trust me, this whole entire team and everything will be turned around, because when he got called up, we started winning. And as soon as he started going in the slump towards the end of the last season, not end of the last season, towards the All-Star break, then that's when the whole entire team started flailing. And he's the catalyst, and that's just genuinely how I feel. He's that guy, and not even just verbally, just just to play on the field. When he's balling, the Orioles ball, and we just need him to get fixed, and all of our problems will be gone. And we'll have different, streams. We'll have different talks about this. As long as Adley gets gone, we'll be good.
Yeah. No, and I agree. I feel like we've been even saying on this show since last year, Adley is that glue for this team. It just, like you said, when he's going, it feels like there's just this different swagger with this team. He comes up clutch. He comes up in big moments. He's getting on base. He's the catalyst. He's seeing 10 pitches in at bat. It feels like everything else falls into place when Adley is at his peak. And I agree, there are some players on this team that have their, stretches, but it doesn't really feel like they're carrying the team. When Adley's going, it feels like it goes to the rest of the team. When he's on, 1 through 9 is on. So
yeah,
I
completely
agree. Yeah, he's got that kind of, when he's up there seeing 10 pitch at bats, going the other way for singles, hitting big, home runs. That's when, it feels like the rest of the team kind of follows suit with that.
Yeah. Look, that was the best times. When Adley's on, this whole team is on, and, stadium rocking, everybody, the whole feeling of waking up wanting to watch Orioles baseball is just so much better. But this is the last thing that I'm going to say before I let you guys go. I think the reason we're not winning is because Kevin is not having any incentives for the Orioles to win. Kevin, you need – look, if we go on a 3-game win streak, you have to do something. Like if we win 3 games in a row, you have to do something, and that will rub
Man,
off on the
I've been
Orioles
trying.
football.
I've been saying if they sweep a team, I'd eat the ramen since last year. They never let me do it.
I mean, we're done with that.
Hey,
This
look,
team
no
ain't
sweeps.
sweeping nobody at this
Yeah,
moment.
no sweeps. Look, we can do it. Look, we can do it. This is the first win. We get a win tomorrow, and then win the first game. 3-game win streak like that. If we win a 3-game win streak, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we need to figure out something. Corn
I
dogs, maybe.
I still have all this ramen I bought from last season. Still
look,
sitting up in a cabinet. Like
ramens, corn dogs, all the same thing. So
yeah, man. All right. Well, look, if we might have to just do it. Yeah, they might not sweep anybody ever again. So 3 straight wins,
yes.
and then we'll get something going. All right. You know what?
Okay.
I'm with it, Gordon. I'm with it.
Okay.
Awesome.
But
Gordon, appreciate you as always. You be good. Have
Yes,
a great
Appreciate you,
Saturday.
Gordon.
yes, appreciate you. We'll be calling back tomorrow after a win. So
Yeah, there we go. 2 straight.
There
Book
we-
it.
2
Book
straight.
it. Let's
2
go.
straight.
There we
Yes.
go. Gordon, appreciate you, my guy. We'll catch
Awesome.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, you
Awesome.
most
Let's
definitely
go.
will because it'll happen. But
All right.
Yeah,
See
yeah,
you tomorrow,
safe.
Gordon. See you tomorrow. Let's go.
Awesome.
Awesome. And then
Uh,
I want to do a quick PSA. People are asking how do they become a member. I'll put the link. If you want to, if you're on your phone, it's something's weird with the phone. I don't know what it is, but if you're on your computer, there should be a button next to or under subscribe, and I'll just put the link in just so if anybody here is interested. If you want to call in, this is how you do it. So you can become a member with the link that I just put in the chat. So boom, there we go. Okay, all right. It's not.
You do it. You
Okay.
do it.
Thanks. How did you do that? You had no hands on the keyboard.
Yes, Kevin. I always
Oh.
the hands are always
Okay.
always ready,
Yeah.
Kevin. I'm quick. They used to call me fast hands. They used to
Did
call
they
me
really?
fast.
Did they really? Yeah, who's
fast
they,
hands.
by the
Who
way?
the hell called me fast hands?
I don't
Okay,
know why
let's
would
get
you
into
call
our
that.
Let's get into our final call-in of the night. She knows who she is. We got Laura. Laura, how we feeling?
Yeah.
What's going on, Laura?
Well, and this reference may be a little bit too old for you guys because today was really the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Do you remember that from the old Wide World of Sports? I'm dating myself here of how old I am. I mean, and like I said earlier, and forgive me, I'm in my bathing suit still because it's my dad's birthday this week. My dad's birthday's tomorrow. So he's in
Happy
town.
birthday
And
to Dad.
I was on duty watching the nieces and nephews in the pool. So I really kind of listened more to the first game because my dad
Okay.
didn't want to watch it. He didn't want me to pull it up. He doesn't care for the Orioles. Sorry. He's a Dodger fan. Y'all know this.
Yeah, hey, staying loyal.
So I, was kind of listening while I was out at the pool, and that was a very winnable game. A very, very winnable game. And that was, that's really kind of that agony of defeat there because, I mean, we were in it until the end. But again, I like the fire that I'm saying. Like everybody's saying, like, well, like you were saying, Zach, we can't attribute it to Hyde being fired. You know what? That's exactly what we attribute it to. Is Hyde being fired? Okay.
I mean, it lines up. If you want to say that, I'm not going to stop you. I do think it gave people a sense of urgency. I think it had some accountability in that locker room, and people are starting to fight.
Correct. So that's what it has to take to light a fire under these kids. Then that's what it has to take. Sorry, Brandon Hyde. But now you see the results now. You see where these kids are actually really trying to win. Before, it just didn't look like they were even trying to win. It was just like they were going through the motions. Oh, here's a game. We go to the bat. Oh, yeah, the ball comes this way. I'll try and get it. But, now you actually see them, kind of going out there, putting their bodies out there, trying to get the ball, trying to save that home roll ball and everything else. So I'm very impressed with that. And then, of course, the game tonight was the the thrill of victory, which was almost snatched away from us again.
I was getting nervous. I'm going to say it. I even put the tweet. I said, please don't do this. I said, please don't do this. When they got that first solo off his glove, I was like, don't do that. Not like this.
Have you seen the gif of Kermit kind of biting his nails?
Yeah,
that was us.
Laura, I'm going to be
Biting her
completely
nails.
honest with you. Marcelo Meyer came up as the winning run, and I literally told myself in my head, I was like, the second this ball leaves his bat off of Sir Anthony Dominguez, I was like, I'm not watching it land. I was like, because I just had a feeling the rookie, after having 3 non-competitive at-bats, I was like, he's going to be the dude to go put it in the stands to win it. I was like, not like this. So I was ready. I was like, as soon as it hits the bat, if it's in the air, turning it off.
Because again, you're thinking again, here's the number 6 prospect. Not just on the Red Sox, like
in baseball.
Who's all of a sudden being called up, and you're like, yep, this is it. He's gonna kill us. It's gonna be your first hit. It's gonna be this big thing. Da 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 da. So when you got the out,
we're back. We're back.
We're better, as it says there. The O's are better. We're definitely looking better. Are we back? Like I said, I need 2 wins in a row. Because I get tired of one win and we get all excited and then they don't get another win. I need another win tomorrow.
Yep, keep the momentum.
Then I may say that they are back. And then if we get another win, I might say they're fine. I might actually get the shirt back out.
Whoa.
Okay?
Yeah.
Spicy.
So,
getting spicy. Laura, tomorrow I hope we're talking after Dean Kramer.
I hope so. I need a Dean Kramer win. I'm actually sacrificing here because Walker Buehler is on a few of my fantasy baseball teams. I'm sacrificing my win this week to get this second win for the Orioles.
Sacrificing, Laura. I'd like it. Everyone's got to take some for the team.
That's right. Taking it for the team.
Laura. Yes.
Right.
We appreciate you. Laura, appreciate you as always.
Laura.
Hopefully
Let's talk after a win. Let's talk after a win. Let's do it.
Let's do it. We're putting it into existence, Laura.
We're manifesting is what we're doing. Manifesting.
Get the sage out. Get the sage out.
Oh, do I have to burn the incense tonight? I'll burn the incense.
Get the stage out. Yep. All the good luck going. All the good luck.
All right. I'm all over it.
All right. Let's go. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Appreciate you
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Kevin, it's a weird day when you win one, lose one, but
it's better.
We play 2 games for beer league softball, and we always say if you're going to split, you might as well win the second because you feel a lot better leaving after a win. So I'm telling you, if it would have been reversed, they won that 2-1 game on a Trevor Rogers, masterclass, and then we're up 5-2 with a chance to sweep the doubleheader and then lost, we would not be happy right now in the post game. So you got the win, you got the good taste in your mouth at least leaving, and who knows? Maybe we can put something together. Go win tomorrow. Go split the series.
We will see.
Awesome. But anything else, Kevin?
No, I think that's it. Just go win tomorrow.
Yeah, go win tomorrow, and we will be back tomorrow after the game. Kevin and Zach react. What time is the game tomorrow? I'm assuming it's like a 1 o'clock game.
It's at 1, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be back after that. Orioles, we're just going to go off of the most recent thing. Orioles win. Kevin.
Come on. Let's go. Come
game
on.
1. We haven't had fun ones match this
Game
year.
1 never happened.
Orioles,
Only game 2.
Exactly. Game 1 didn't happen. Orioles win. We'll see you tomorrow. Pat Connaughton.
Wow. Dontrell Willis.
Oh,
Come on.
2 of them.